Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to the Vampire Amazon Challenge in The Sims 4. We are following the reign of Queen Darling Cloudy Snarl, who has recently learned about the death of her eldest daughter, Crown Princess Zara. She was just finishing up a heartfelt conversation with Nidia when Lady Shannon came rushing in with the ashes of the Crown Princess. She said Zara had gotten carried away and spent too long in the sun. Her powers failed her and she began to burn. It was too late by the time Shannon found her remains. With heavy hearts, the ladies moved to the royal crypt where they mourned the Crown Princess. While she was a controversial figure, Zara was a powerful symbol of the royal family. Losing her was bigger than one vampire's death. It was the death of a future that would have come under her reign. Many in the court felt that it was divine intervention, that Cloudy Snarl, their bloodline deity, had punished Zara for her tyrannical nature and claimed her life to exact justice. Queen Darling accepted her daughter's death as that and began making preparations to deal with the aftermath. The thing brewing on everyone's minds was the title of Crown Princess. Now that Zara was dead, the queen's successor was her second-born daughter, Princess Nidia. It was imperative for the queendom's future for her to receive Zara's golden circlet, and so it was done in the presence of the court. While Nidia was not Darling's ideal heir, it was her birthright. To further secure her daughter's new position, the queen announced the immediate betrothal of Crown Princess Nidia and Lord Yorick. She wasn't sure about the understanding they had of each other, but hoped they would somehow make this work. The queendom needed some clarity at a time like this, and the royal betrothal would give it to them. We are picking up at 6 a.m. on Saturday. Everything has been happening in a rush ever since Crown Princess Zara's death, so it is a lot to wrap our heads around, but let's try and figure this out. Yorick has pretty much been thrust from one betrothal to another, and I really wasn't sure how this would go. In that I felt really bad for Yorick because I thought he was involved with one princess, which wasn't necessarily his preference, but things changed so drastically, he couldn't even wrap his head around it, and he was immediately tied to the next crown princess, which is now Nidia. So I was feeling really terrible for him. And then I just accidentally hovered over this whim of his, which said chat with a crush from having a crush with Nidia's portrait, and I thought, hold on a second, what exactly is going on with him? So I found Nidia and I was like, what is his relationship with Nidia? Hold on a second, I'm getting confused. Yeah, I was like, what is his relationship with Nidia? Well, it's, as you can see, quite full. He has a 100% friendship with Nidia at this point, which I was completely surprised by. He was also very attracted to her. Now, I recently bought the Love Struck expansion and the Life and Death expansion, so now we have like an attraction system, which is in-game, not a mod, for me to rely on, which does add some extra confusion as I, get used to incorporating that into our story. And his friendship with Zuleika is at 98. Now, when Yorick was initially betrothed to Zara, I did take a look at all of his relationships because I wanted to see who his preference was, and he had a preference for Zuleika 100% at the time. He would have preferred to be with Zuleika, and he saw her as a better marriage partner than Nidia. But things have changed. His perspective, his opinions have changed since then. And now, for the first time in his life, he actually has romantic feelings for someone, and that is Nidia, not Zuleika. So he's kind of moved on from Zuleika. He has made peace with the fact that it is not gonna happen, like nothing is gonna happen between them. She's kind of promised to Zoro, and that is that. And he started developing a friendship with Nidia, and now he has a crush on her. And we have to keep in mind that this means he has had a crush on her, or he had a crush on her as you can see, he has the sentiment as well, while he was in a betrothal with Zara, which is mind-boggling to me, absolutely mind-boggling. And this opens up some very intriguing questions. Namely, was Nidia trying to steal Yorick from her sister? And behind the scenes, when we weren't paying attention because we thought she was not necessarily someone to pay attention to, she was making all these plans to get closer to Yorick and kind of make him fall in love with her in a way. This is also a good time for us to note that in the past, whenever I've been talking about Zuleika, Zara, Yorick, Zoro, I haven't necessarily been talking about the romance between them. They have not pursued any romance at this point in their lives. They have had friendships, and according to their friendships, maybe there are certain Sims within the court or vampires within the court that they feel they would make a good marriage partner with. So that's what we saw between Zuleika and Yorick. They thought that for each other, since they were best friends, they would also make good marriage partners. That doesn't mean they had feelings for each other or were in love with each other. For the first time, Yorick is having feelings for someone, and that is Princess Nidia. Now, when I discovered this, something else occurred to me, that in the last episode, before Nidia walked off to talk to the Queen, she was outside with Shannon and with Zara. And then, after Zara died, or at the beginning of this episode, Shannon ran in and she basically told the Queen that by the time she found Zara's remains, it was too late to do anything. But Nidia knows that Zara was alive the last time she saw her outside with Shannon. Now, since all of this has happened, Nidia has not brought up the question of what happened in that time frame. She hasn't cast any doubt on Shannon. She's kind of kept her mouth shut, which makes me feel as though Nidia, guys. Hello, Nidia. Crown Princess Nidia with the golden circlet that her sister had. It makes me think that Nidia, guys, is actually the mastermind behind everything that's been going on, because she's been working from the shadows, unassuming, plain looking. We're not really thinking too much about it, but she has the kleptomaniac trait. And we know since she was a child, she's been kind of stealing material things from her sister, but also she's been very two-faced, and she has been encouraging division between her sister and other members of the court. So I kind of feel like Nidia in the background, when no one, not even like myself, was paying attention to her, she was one, trying to get close to Yorick and almost steal Yorick from Zara. She was also maybe keeping an eye on the fact that the Bright Paws are actually plotting something, and that the Bright Paws have bad intentions towards Zara, and she created the opportunity for them to take, or for Shannon to take Zara out. And I think at the very beginning of the last episode, in that very cool fight scene where they were sword fighting, right out here, we had Shannon fighting Vampyre, her daughter, and then we had Nidia sword fighting Zara. So we know that these four were involved, and I think that Nidia came inside, like, to talk to her mother so that she could basically keep tabs on the Queen and keep the Queen distracted while Shannon did her thing. Now, this does not mean that Nidia was in cahoots with Shannon. I feel like Shannon has no clue about Nidia's involvement. Shannon thinks she's basically orchestrated everything, but I think the one really pulling the strings in the background is Nidia. And basically, she has manipulated her way into becoming the Crown Princess, which is terrifying. But yeah, so far, she obviously is really, really happy with Yorick. She's attracted to him. She is absolutely delighted at this betrothal, but she's, I think, acting sad. I don't feel like she misses Zara that much. Because if we look at her relationship with Zara, like, it was barely anything. She had a 12 friendship with Zara. And the smart thing is, before her friendship with Zara went south, before she got anything in the red with Zara and became a victim to her, she decided to take Zara out. So this is where Nidia's at, guys. I'm terrified of her. I'm terrified. And if we look at Zuleika's relationships, or at least when I was taking a look at Zuleika's relationships, she still has, oh well, apparently she has 100. Now they have 100. But Zuleika most definitely still prefers Yorick as a marriage partner. But Yorick has like moved on from her. She has just recently become friends with Zara, who she's also attracted to. But I don't know if Zuleika feels as though Zara will ever reach kind of the level of closeness and understanding that she had with Yorick. So she still prefers Yorick. But yeah, Yorick has moved on. He has a crush on Nidia. He's never felt this way about anyone. And he is very, very happy and very excited, obviously not knowing anything. Zuleika does not know about Nidia's involvement. And Zuleika, she thinks that Shannon has done everything, but obviously she's not bringing it up because she feels as though this was, in a way, life-saving for her. So there is that. And I don't think... Nidia obviously knows that Zuleika witnessed Shannon kill Zara. But 100% Nidia knows what went down and how it went down. But she's not asking any of the questions that might get Shannon in trouble. So I've gone ahead and I have put in a new betrothal portrait for Yorick and Nidia. Yorick is genuinely happy this time around. Nidia, she looks sad in a portrait, but I like the idea that she is pretending to be sad so that people don't see her as being too happy to get the title of Crown Princess. In the future, when this is looked back on, people will really see how distraught she was over her sister's death and how unexpected all of that was. And I've put the older betrothal portrait that Zara had with Yorick up here. So, oh geez. Yeah, I've put this up here. And this is kind of as a memory mainly for the queen. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, Zara. Oh, Zara. I really do miss her, guys. So that's one thing. Now, I have gone ahead and extended the royal crypts. So now we have this section, or the crypts. So this is going to be the noble crypt, and then we have the royal crypt over here, which is got a slightly different color scheme. And Zara is right over here, guys. I think I definitely want for the royal remains to have like flowers around it, some decoration around the actual like pedestals themselves, because it makes sense. The royals, they get a little bit more, embellishment and a little bit more decoration around their remains. So, oh, my beautiful Zara, my lovely Zara. I miss her so much, guys. I was actually very happy with Zara as Crown Princess, even though Nimue is my favorite princess. Even though Nimue is my favorite, I 100% preferred Zara to be the next queen, but apparently that is not the case. However, I will say that Nidia has kind of shown herself as a very, very terrifying person, because we did not know she was scheming any of this. She has unwittingly, in the background, manipulated so many people and stolen everything that her sister had. She stole her sister's betrothed, she stole her sister's crown. So, like, the others, they don't know. I mean, everyone's kind of caught in their own struggles in their own games, but Nidia's like way ahead of everyone. I think that's all that I had in my head in terms of going over like the new thoughts that I had regarding Nidia's involvement. And the next birthday we have is going to be next Wednesday, which is Zuleika's birthday. And I feel so sad because it's a Saturday. This was when Zara was supposed to age up into an immortal. Oh, speaking of aging up into an immortal, you guys will know that I am keeping track of the family trees of our vampires in my spreadsheets. Now, one thing that I'm doing is that I am adding portraits in the spreadsheets along with their names, right? However, I am only adding portraits for the immortal vampires. And this is because I want to kind of emulate the history, or the way I think history would be recorded among the vampires. I think within this particular vampiric culture, because they value strength so much, which we see in the tournaments, if a child dies before becoming immortal, the vampires consider that child not worthy of being remembered because they weren't a worthy vampire. They didn't earn their immortality. So yes, Zara's name will be recorded in the family tree that I have in my spreadsheets, but she won't have a picture. Her portrait won't be recorded because the vampires don't feel the need to remember the way she looked. They won't talk about, her appearance. They won't have any paintings, any renderings of how she looked. None of that. Her appearance and the way she looks will be forgotten in time. The only thing that will be remembered is that there was a crown princess named Zara who died before she became an immortal. So that is very sad, but that way vampiric history really only remembers the important vampires, the successful children, the children who made it to immortality, which is so heartbreaking because she was one day away from immortality. If she had died on her birthday, she would have had her portrait recorded, but because she didn't, she's going to be forgotten to time. I mean, we'll have the in-game royal crypt where we have her portrait, but in terms of the family tree, she will not have a portrait in the family tree. But okay, now that I've gotten that done, maybe I should lock into some whims to see what's going on in everyone's minds. I took the court hunting and Lady Shannon has ranked up, so let's take a look at what abilities and weaknesses she's manifested. She is now a prime vampire and has the abilities Vampiric Strength, Command, Eternally Welcome, and Occult Student. She also has the weakness Guilty Drinker. Lady Lilith has also ranked up, so let's take a look at her as well. She's now a Grand Master and has the abilities Beyond the Herd, Dampened Emotions, Mesmerize, and Bat Form. She also has the weaknesses Sloppy Drinker and Uncontrollable Hissing. Prince Zoro has become a young adult, so we're taking a look at him in Cass. As an immortal, he's developed the Practice Makes Perfect trait. Since we already know that Zoro has always been happy with his betrothal to Zuleika, I like the idea that this is something he's learned from her. People often say that you begin adopting aspects of your partner, and I think this is no different. Maybe Zoro has an inkling of where Zuleika's thoughts may lie, and he feels that if he tries harder to be a better betrothed, then one day she'll come to accept their union and be happy with it. In terms of his appearance, I kind of like this disheveled hair he has because I feel like it shows how his teenage years have really taken a toll on him. From being so close to his twin to becoming enemies with her and then losing her is a crazy amount of events to go through. I'm also going to be giving my young adult males facial hair because I want something to visually set them apart from the teens. And that's all we have for Prince Zoro. It is 6 a.m. on Sunday. Let's go through the whims for some of our ladies and see what they are thinking. Starting off with Zuleika. So she wants to be mischievous to Lord Yorick. I think Zuleika's a little bit unsettled by the fact that Yorick doesn't seem as resistant to this new betrothal as he was with Zara, and she wants to joke around with him almost as if, oh, do you like her or something? Why aren't you saying anything? She's kind of noticed that there's something different about him, and she wants to figure out why that is the case. So let's find him. Well, he's out here, and that's not a great thing. Let's see if we can do a little bit of mischief. We're gonna monkey around. She's gonna try and get it out of him that he's maybe, feeling not that great about being pulled from a relationship with one princess and thrown into another one, but I don't know if she's gonna get that from him. Oh, what? That was fulfilled on its own. She didn't even go talk to him. So I'm gonna interpret this as Zuleika wanting to go fool around with Yorick, but then she stopped herself because she almost didn't want to know how he would react in case it wasn't the reaction she wanted. Moving on to Caleb. Caleb wants to be friendly with Prince Zoro. Now, as the lady who has been the most attuned with the kids, I feel like out of everyone, Caleb would know the most that Zoro, despite being enemies with Zara, is probably mourning his twin. I mean, he's been through a lot, and I definitely feel as though out of everyone, I mean, all our vampires are so caught up on the fact that, you know, Crown Princess Zara died, and now Nidia's Crown Princess, but that Zara died, that nobody's really thinking about the effect that might have had on Zoro. Or some people might be assuming that because they were enemies, Zoro is not going to be mourning her, but I think Caleb realizes that it's a lot more complicated than that. So is he not with us? Well, we shall summon him if that is not the case. So let's summon over Zoro. And let's see. So let's summon Zoro. Hold on. It's going to be a lot easier if I just go to the Queen's family members. There we go. Here he is. Here he is. Let's be friendly with him. Ooh, share conspiracy theories. I don't think she'd do that. I think she would support his facial hair. Maybe as a way of saying that I'm glad your birthday passed safely. Oh my goodness, Zoro. Zoro! Zoro, no! Guys, Zoro has really lost it. Zoro has really lost it. Oh my goodness, Zoro, no. Change. Don't be walking around naked. No. Don't do that. Oh, Zoro, he is really struggling, guys. He is really struggling. Our poor boy over here just lost his marbles for a second and decided to just throw his clothes off, go full on naked, maybe running into the pool. Zoro, this is not the way to deal with grief. Let's have a nice chat with Lady Caleb and calm down a little bit. I honestly feel like he's trying really hard to be the acceptable type of marriage partner to Zuleika, because he's always been really happy with Zuleika, but I feel like another part of him is also struggling to come to terms with everything that happened in his teenage years and the death of Zara. You can see he's like so sad right now. Oh my goodness. Okay, Lilith meanwhile wants to finish a painting, so she is definitely wanting to capture more of the moments within the castle or within the court. And definitely she would kind of realize the importance of that now that we have had such a drastic death. So let's see what's kind of going on. I mean, we have Yorick over here. We could come and see the conversation between Caleb and Zoro, maybe. I'm actually going to move the easel. I think I'll move it over here. And see if we can get Lilith to maybe capture this moment between Caleb and Zoro. So let's come here and paint from reference. Come on, Lilith, let's try and capture this moment, this very heartfelt conversation between, and then Nidia's in the background. Nidia, why are your eyes closed in the background? We're doing this again. Oh, no, scrap the painting. I'm sorry, scrap it. This is not what I wanted. Nidia's not looking too great. Scrap it. Let's paint from reference again. Let's try and capture something relatively decent. Okay, this is much better, I think. This moment between Zoro. I think this is fine. This moment between Zoro and Caleb, where she is trying to comfort him. And she's trying to have a decent conversation with him, which I don't think anyone else has really bothered to do. Congratulating him, recognizing the fact that he is now an immortal, and I think she would also know the grief he feels over the fact that he made it to immortality and his twin sister didn't, that he is going to be remembered by vampiric history and his twin sister will not be. Even though no one else remembers her, he will forever kind of like he'll have everything that happened between them etched into his, brain and his heart. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, things are complicated on that front. Shannon is running from the rain, wants to do something romantic, so she's gonna find Caleb, who is out here, and she is going to... Let's see. She's going to, I think, hold hands with Caleb. I mean, Caleb, honey, you stink right now. Caleb, you stink! Go inside. Go and take a shower. You're ruining the moment, Caleb. You're ruining the moment. Let's take a shower, and then we can kind of get this on the road. Okay, now we'll get Shannon to come and do something romantic with you. She's going to hold hands. And this is going to be Shannon's way of celebrating the fact that she got away with something so drastic. She got away with murder. And also, she's going to kind of let out a breath of relief that no one caught her. No one caught her. And obviously, with Shannon, I feel like this whole move by the Bright Paws would have been a way for Shannon to destabilize the whole thing with Zara and Yorick. Maybe she thought, since Zoro is no longer an option, if she takes Zara out, Yorick might become an option for her daughter. But also, I think Shannon was getting worried by the rate at which Zara was making enemies, and she kind of felt like she wouldn't be able to control or manipulate Zara. And she thought for the safety of her own daughter, it was better to kind of eliminate Zara. And I think Vampyre's relationship with Zara was also in the red. So I think as a cautionary thing, Shannon took Zara out. It was fear for her life in court, but for her daughter's life in court, she didn't want any risks. So there is that. Also, I quickly jumped in to take a look at the relationship that Nidia has with Shannon, or everyone in the household. She has the most relationship with Shannon and an amazing compatibility. She's got like a 97 with Shannon, which I feel like is further evidence that Nidia 100% knew what Shannon was going to do. She's been observing Shannon this whole time. She's been chumming up to her, and when she thought the time was right, she created the ideal environment for Shannon to bring that murder into fruition. Okay, and finally we have Akira, who wants to analyze a book. Oh my goodness, what happened to the painting? What happened to the painting? Lilith, where'd it go? Oh, it's down here. Nice. I didn't realize they could just put it in the inventory, but that's a thing. Well, since you've done that, we're gonna add this painting over here. Oh, memories. Memories! But let's see. We'll name this Zoro and Caleb. Just in the future, we can remember like who's who. But guys, this is the only painting we have of Zoro and his twin sister Zara, and this was the day of his betrothal too. Zara's not in her formal outfit, which is what everyone else was wearing, so I think you can tell from that she was not happy with the betrothal, and she did not want to celebrate it, so she quickly changed into her normal gown as soon as the formalities were done. And this is around the time when her and Zara's relationship started going downhill. Like from this day, it started going downhill. But now the only way Zoro can really remember his sister, aside from mourning her at the Royal Crypt, is coming in to look at this painting, this one painting he has of them together. Oh my goodness. When they were, playing with each other just before everything started going downhill. Oh my goodness. And then the transition, we have that, and then we have this very miserable and sad face on the day of his birthday. Oh my goodness, Zoro. Oh my goodness. Life has been very rough on you. Very, very rough. Now, Akira wants to analyze a book. Do we have any books? Look up historical deaths? Oh my goodness. Let's read. I'm very curious about what that interaction is. Look up historical deaths. Like, just out of curiosity, what does that entail? Historical in what sense? just generally, or historical within this household's, like, history? Because that would be fascinating. So this is the thanatology skill. Okay, so is this just an interaction to do with the skill itself? I think so. Yeah. You know, it would have been really cool if, when you look up historical deaths, somehow the game remembers all the deaths that have happened within the household, and that way we would actually be able to remember or have a little pop-up of all the Sims that have died. Like, these are our historical deaths, in a sense, you know? That would be cool. But okay, let's grab a book. We're gonna grab a book, and we are going to analyze this book. So as she sits down to analyze, there's a reason why Akira is doing this. Akira is just trying to calm down and sort through her thoughts, because she's kind of noticed that her daughter Zuleika has become a little bit avoidant of late, and she's acting a little strange, but she can't figure out why that is the case. So she kind of wants to just get away from everyone and get away from all of the sadness around her to work through why Zuleika might be acting odd. So there's that. One other thing I noticed was that our queen, guys, I had a look at her relationship with Zoro, and her relationship with Zoro is -4. It is -4. She and Zoro, I'm pretty sure at one point, had 100 relationship. They were so close to each other. And now, for the first time, it has gotten this bad. So you can see how Zoro has more than just the death of his sister to mourn. He has the loss of this relationship he had with his mother to mourn. And I think this is maybe Darling feeling as though it is unfair that out of Zuleika and Zara, that Zara was the one to die, that Zara was the one who the bloodline deities were displeased with. We know that she didn't have the best relationship with Zara when Zara was alive, but at the end of the day, Zara is her blood, Zuleika isn't, and Zara was crown princess. And the queen, we kind of saw, was defending her through a lot of her actions, even though they were very mean and questionable. So I feel like, despite having the closest relationship with Zoro throughout basically all of her kids' childhoods, now the queen is not realizing the importance of girls over boys, but she is being a true kind of vampirist in the court, and she is making it clear to Zoro that I did favor you when all of you were alive, but the lives of your sisters are more important than your life, at least to the queen and to the bloodline. And we already know she's not too fond of Zuleika. I mean, she has a good impression of her, but I think she still feels as though it is very unfair that out of the rivalry that happened, the arch rivalry, Zuleika survived and Zara didn't. Things are rough. But okay, guys, with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.